welcome to the Deep Dive podcast. Today I will be talking a little bit today about this concept of sacred silence. So really just speaking to the idea that we as humans really want to share. We want to share about what's going on in our present experience, and especially when we enter these containers where there's a great degree of trust and healing, and there's a kind of energy where we're feeling really able to access these deeper experiences. And we just want to open up this idea that we don't need to necessarily jump or rush into doing some of the deeper processing, at least not right away in some cases. So there's certainly a lot to gain from opening up about a traumatic experience that maybe you've been repressing, or there's a level of release involved if you're even just able to have attention on you. But knowing how to check in with yourself and knowing that there's this deeper level of trust within yourself, so you're holding yourself within that deeper level of trust, this will be honoring the trauma and introducing a level of alignment with whether this is your truth, I suppose. So not to get into too deep into this idea of honoring your truth and speaking your truth, because speaking your truth seems to be this idea where if we don't speak to something, we'll never speak to it. And there could be a degree to which maybe repressing or limiting ourselves is also creating some sort of internal conflict. But I do just want to really emphasize that in a therapeutic container, when we're really new to opening up about these traumas, maybe for the first time, we feel, again, almost like this rush to kind of just get it out, to just open the floodgate. And this might be healing in many people's instances where they just really don't have the other opportunities to open up in this way. But when you're able to secure that deeper level of trust and that deeper level of self-trust, and then maybe suspending the opportunity to really deeply engage with and integrate that trauma, you're able to offer yourself an opportunity that might be more congruent with your body's needs and accessing the deeper levels of the trauma. For instance, maybe within the nervous system, I for one know I've felt times where I've spoken to the trauma and I've released some of it, and I'm feeling triggered, but there's so much left in the body, there's so much left in the nervous system that needs to be integrated through movement practice or breath work or something. And part of me almost wishes there was a way I could have waited. So there's like a degree of regret that comes along with sort of just throwing out the trauma and not knowing whether or not it can be fully met. So I mean, this is speaking to my experience of how I've dealt with this sacred silence and how I've held myself in that space of sacred silence. But it's important to recognize this could look a lot different for anyone, really. For each person, this could be you don't want to prolong this sacred silence until you've reached this point where now it's started to become repression. So the sacred silence isn't necessarily just not speaking to it. It's potentially finding a different way to express it. So there could be like honoring your expression in creativity versus knowing that it has to be integrated in a writing prompt or potentially in therapy. But knowing that there's not just a single way to reach the release and the integration of the trauma, that it's very likely there's going to be multiple dimensions to that. So being patient, honoring your silence, and knowing that the time will come and that you will be ready for that full release. So, thank you for just listening to what I have to say about that, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and be well.